If you believe you may have any information pertaining to this case, you are urged to contact the United States Park Police on 301-344-4250. You could instead contact the Maryland Office of the Chief Medical Examiner on 410-333-3250, or by email at info@ocmemd.org. This video features discussions of physical and sexual abuse, neglect, and other topics some may find upsetting. Viewer discretion is advised. On either the 2nd or the 3rd of August 1981, the US Park Police received an anonymous call informing them a body had been found lying in a patch of grass near a rail guard along the northbound lane of the Baltimore-Washington Parkway in Greenbelt, Prince George's County, Maryland. When they arrived on the scene, police located the decomposing remains of a young man wrapped in a blue blanket or bedspread. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, this blanket resembled the type commonly found in hospitals and hotels. A short distance from the body, there lie a white or beige canvas straitjacket bearing a quote medical insignia and the letters US. Police are of the opinion the decedent died elsewhere and was brought to his site of discovery. The coroner found the young man had been dead for several days before being found. The manner of death has not been publicly released, though given the police have referred to this decedent as a victim, and the fact the FBI's VICAP unit is investigating this case, foul play does seem probable. The decedent was black and most likely between 15 and 25 years old at his time of death. Most sources state he was probably on the younger end of this age estimate. At 5 foot 1 inch to 5 foot 6 inches tall, he weighed around 96 to 120 pounds. It's noted he was evidently malnourished. His hair was short to medium length, kinky, worn in an afro style, and black in colour. Due to the level of decomposition, his eye colour could not be determined. He was clean-shaven and had long fingernails. His teeth were in very poor condition, being markedly decayed and crooked and having gaps between them. His top front teeth are described on NamUs as, quote, seriously deformed, appearing to be of different sizes and lengths to one another. His ankles and his right foot were wrapped in ACE-branded bandages. The only clothing found on the body was a pair of blue jeans. Because of the items found with the body, police believe the young man may have been a patient at a local medical facility. As such, they made contact with several hospitals in the hope of finding out who he was, yet none could positively identify him. No missing person reports seemed to match his description either. His fingerprints were run through law enforcement's databases, but likewise no matches could be made. In time, every lead dried up, and 40 years later, it seems the police are still no closer to obtaining his name. Remaining a John Doe, the decedent was cremated in 1982 without a DNA sample on file. One of the most notable theories regarding this case is that John Doe may have been a patient at a nearby DC government institution for the developmentally disabled by the name of Forest Haven. In 1991, Forest Haven was shut down after it came to light that internal neglect and abuse of its patients had been commonplace for several decades. Incidents of physical, mental and sexual abuse of patients by Forest Haven staff were being reported in the news as early as the mid-1970s. Chronic physical abuse could explain the extensive injuries to Greenbelt John Doe's ankles and feet. Though several local hospitals were reportedly contacted by police regarding this case, I'm uncertain as to whether or not Forest Haven specifically was part of that group of hospitals. In any case, our Doe being a patient there or in a similar institution is something to mull over, given this theory was significant enough to be mentioned by the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children. In 2008, Greenbelt John Doe was entered into the then new NamUs database. A few years later, in 2011, an investigator on the case managed to locate John Doe's autopsy report, 2 black and white autopsy photos, and a sample of his hair. Luckily, DNA was able to be extracted from this sample, which was promptly entered into a national database. Unfortunately, no matches turned up. As of 2014, investigators were still actively working on the case, circulating the decedent's fingerprints through yet more databases across all 50 states. Nothing seems to have yet come of this, however. NamUs currently lists one public rule-out for the decedent: James Natalia Foster, missing from Steilacoom, Washington since July 1980. If any more rule-outs are added in the future, I shall add them to the list in the description of this video. Again, if you believe you have any information pertaining to this case, you are urged to contact one of the following: the United States Park Police on 301-344-4250, or the Maryland Office of the Chief Medical Examiner on 410-333-3250. or at info@ocmemd.org. Thank you very much for giving Greenbelt John Doe a moment of your day.